In today's unboxing, we take a look at the Deathwatch Corvus Blackstar. Let's take a look.
There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment.
Then one day, their hobbyist ran away.
Here we have the Corvus Blackstar for the Deathwatch. This is a single miniature figure for the Warhammer 40K game. Let's go ahead and flip it over so we can take a look at the back. Here it kind of shows a couple different paint schemes that you have for the game. But again, one of the things that I absolutely love about the Citadel, the Games Workshop boxes, especially for the Warhammer stuff, is that it gives you some color palette recommendations right here. So that way, if you are new into the game and you're getting this, it also gives you an idea of what kind of paints that you might need from the Citadel line to try to match what they are showing here, and that is absolutely fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look inside to see what we got. And this one is nice that it has the inner box to keep everything together. We have our flight stand. 2 different sprue, the instruction manual, and then of course its base. Let's go ahead and start with the sprue. Here, we will start right here. And let's go ahead and zoom in a little on this. There we go. Getting some nice close-ups. Now this is a pretty large hunk of plastic. It will wind up making a fairly decently sized miniature, but of course it is only the 2 sprue. So price comparison, it might not be one of the best, but by weight and everything, that's where you're really going to see some of the difference, as opposed to, you know, just your sprue for the units themselves. And then let's go ahead and pull out the second one. And then here we can see where that, and of course it's going to be from the bottom, but so that's where that's going to be. So that's nice, where so you'll have this glued down, but then you'll be able to, you know, take him on and off his base. So I like that design. That's nice. And the nice hatch right there. And if I remember right, I believe there's at least 2 different ways that you can build this. So when we go through the instructions, we'll definitely take a look at that and see what our magnetization options are. But I'd be willing to bet we'd be able to find ways to magnetize this guy up to be able to have either one fairly easily. Let's go ahead and pull out the instructions. So zoom back out a bit. And again, the tools that we will need. And then the start of the build. And here we go. This is now where we're starting to get into the variants. So where you have your two options. And one of the easy ways that you can do this, let's see here, is you can get like some little sheet metal and put that on the back of this, and then on the inside, especially if you were to get some old sprue. So let's pull him out. Let's see if we can find the bit. 14, where are you? I thought it'd be right there. There you are. Here we go. So here, I was looking for, so here, because you're going to be gluing it to this little part right here, so instead you can get some extra sprue, you know, for like this little piece right here, and put it here on the back, and then on that sprue then put a magnet, so it's going to be right there, and then like I said, then have just a metal plate that you can get some, you know, metal clippers, glue that to the back, and so now all of a sudden you have something that will stick to the magnet you put on there. So that way you can, you know, interchange these little bits, and that's how I would at least would do that. And then these, that's all the same. And then here, again, this is going to be very similar, but on this one, that is so you can have the different types of canopy. So here we go. So here's where that's going to go, and we have canopy 1 or 2. So basically we have the open cockpit, or we have the shields on there. So once again, just get a little more of that tin, that metal, put it here on the back. You probably won't need to shave this down any, but if you do, that's not, you know, just sand that down a little bit, you know, just to get it to the same thickness as your metal that you're doing. And then right there, put your little magnet on there so you can pop that on, and so that way you can have either of the coverings. Let's see, here we go. A couple more different options. Now this one is a little more difficult. When you're doing it, you're going to want to make sure you get a nice strong magnet. So you're going to get one of your real high N 51s or whatever, because with this one you are going to be putting the magnet here on the back, because that magnet will need to be able to go through the plastic, because this right here is another option all on its own. So you'll be painting this up, but then you would then put a magnet on these guys. Here we go. So here we have the 2. So you would put them here, and this you could just fill, or maybe you probably wouldn't need to, because you'd have that little bit goes there, so you just put your magnet in there. This one you might need to do, put a little fill in, put a little green stuff in there, but then put your magnet on, and so then they should work right there, to be able to pop that on there and change that out. But like I said, you're going to want decent strength, like your N51s, because it's not going to be a direct magnet to magnet connection. It is going to go through the plastic. Those look like they're just going on. Let's see. Can we see that? So there those are. Probably always going to want them on here. But again, just in case, it's just as easy as kind of like what we've been talking about. But here, put your magnet in, probably here on the back side. And then put your little piece of tin on the inside of this little piece so you can pop that on there. So again, it's just looking as you're going through this, as you're deciding where your magnet's going to be, just to remember what is going to be seen. Where do you have the most bit of plastic to work with? Because where you are really thin, you know, like all these just little single sheets, that's going to be the thinnest. That's where you're going to want to put, say, like a metal sheet on. But then where you have a good bit of room where you can go underneath, like under here or in here, where you have these little bars, and you can actually augment it with extra sprue here in the back, where you have a lot of extra room. That's where you're going to want to put the magnet, and on the opposite side you'll want to put your smaller piece. Like see here we can see where those pieces for here that we're talking about. Not a lot of room going on here, so this again is where you want to put just that little sheet of metal sheet on there to attach on. And here we go. Same thing is going to apply here. Again, with all of our different weapon options. So on this one, once you make it, let's see. Here, once you put the two together, here on the inside you'll put your magnet, and on here you will put your magnet. So can I find him quickly? Maybe not. But so this probably is going to end up being able to be done magnet to magnet. But just in case, again, when you're going through this, you know, you might need to put the magnet on the inside, but here, you know, on the inside there, on each end, there's definitely going to be enough room to drill out and put your magnet in there. And that's nice. I like that's nice looking. This right here, actually, you know, the more I look at this, the more I'm liking this more and more. This right here is excellent for photocopying. So when you are coming in and you're trying to design your paint scheme, photocopy this, and then, you know, with some of your kids' crayons or with some, you know, colored pencils or whatever, do a little sketch on here. Do it up so you can get an idea of where you might want to have some of the red, you know, especially if you are going to go with this red stripes on here. You can kind of see, you can draw that out on here and get an idea of exactly where you're going to want things to go. I actually really like that a lot. That's really going to help with painting and all. And then some rules, which is pretty awesome that they actually have some of this in here, so you're not forced to go to the codex. Very cool. Well, that is the Corvus Blackstar for the Deathwatch. It is a very interesting ship. One of the things I like about it is that it is a unique ship for the Deathwatch. Not every faction has unique vehicles or things like that, so them having this unique ship is very cool, very interesting. I like this a whole lot. Well, I hope this unboxing has helped you to determine if this is a miniature or a model for your Deathwatch faction that you would be interested in getting, and if so, I hope all of my talk on magnetization and some of the plans on some of the things you might want to look into doing will help you plan out what you might want to do to try to magnetize it as best as possible. Of course, that is not something that you have to do. You definitely can feel free to hard put everything on there, glue it on, so it's everything is fixed. That is 100% up to you. But definitely looking through the rule book, talking it out, to myself while we were going through here, looking at all the different components, looking how everything comes together, it definitely looks magnetization possible. And that is also fantastic, because you never know what you're going to need to bring to the table on any given battle. So being able to change things out is going to be a huge help. And then, of course, buying, 3, 4, 5 of these so you can have the different layouts is not, feasible monetarily. So, again, I hope that this unboxing and magnetization review was helpful to you. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later.